Breaking Chains, Building Legacies, The Radical Power of Black Women's Healing. The first time I heard Brittnee Wilder speak about healing as a birthright, something electric moved through the room. There was this collective intake of breath, as if we all suddenly remembered something ancient and powerful that we'd been systematically taught to forget. Brittnee isn't just a visionary, she's a revolutionary disguised as a healer, a truth teller wrapped in compassion. She has dedicated her life to helping Black women reclaim their power through healing, and in doing so, has sparked a movement that is quietly changing the landscape of what's possible for generations to come. What if I told you that the most revolutionary act you could perform today isn't marching in the streets or shattering glass ceilings? What if the most radical thing you could do is simply decide that you deserve to heal? Not tomorrow, not when you've proven yourself worthy, not when you've suffered enough to earn it, but right now, exactly as you are. This isn't about positive thinking or shallow self help mantras that look good on coffee mugs but crumble under the weight of real life. This is about dismantling centuries of messaging that tells Black women their pain is normal, expected, even necessary. It's about challenging the notion that strength means carrying unbearable burdens without complaint, that resilience means enduring rather than transforming. When Brittney says healing and abundance are your birthright, she's not offering a feel good platitude. She's making a declaration of war against generations of trauma. She's inviting us into a radical reimagining of what Black womanhood can be when it isn't defined by struggle. Think about that word, birthright. Not something you earn through suffering, not something you prove yourself worthy of through perfect behavior, something you're born deserving of simply because you exist, because you breathe, because you are. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Many of us have been taught that suffering is our inheritance instead. That pain is the legacy we're meant to carry forward. That strength is measured by how much we can endure without breaking. I want to challenge that narrative today. I want to disrupt it so thoroughly that it can never again take root in your consciousness unchallenged. Because what I've learned from Brittney and the remarkable women whose work I'll share with you is that true power isn't found in endurance. It's found in healing, in reclamation, in the audacious act of saying, this cycle stops with me. Let's talk about Rachel Cargle for a moment. In 2018, she did something seemingly simple but profoundly revolutionary. She asked people to donate to her birthday fundraiser to help Black women access therapy. What happened next was extraordinary. That fundraiser exploded, eventually becoming the Loveland Foundation, which has now distributed over $600,000 in therapy support for Black women and girls across America. Think about the radical nature of that act. In a society that has historically denied Black women's pain, that has pathologized our emotions, dismissed our trauma, and expected us to be endlessly strong for everyone but ourselves, Rachel created a pathway to healing that says your mental health matters. Your inner world deserves attention. Your wounds deserve care. This isn't just about providing services, it's about challenging the very notion that Black women's suffering is inevitable or unremarkable. It's about saying we refuse to accept pain as our inheritance. We demand more. We deserve more. But healing isn't just about addressing trauma. Sometimes it's about reclaiming practices that nourish us, that remind us our bodies are worthy of care. T. Morgan Dixon and Vanessa Garrison understood this when they founded Girl Trek, now the largest health movement for Black women in America. Their approach was beautifully straightforward. Encourage Black women to walk together every day in their neighborhoods with their sisters. On the surface, it sounds simple. Walking, that's your revolutionary act. But when over 1 million Black women start prioritizing their physical health, when they reclaim time for themselves in a world that demands their constant service to others, something profound happens. These women report not just improved physical health, but mental clarity and stronger community bonds. One participant described it this way: for the first time in my life, I'm putting myself first, and I don't feel guilty about it. Can you imagine the generational impact of that shift? Can you see how that ripples forward? When a Black woman decides she deserves to be well, her children witness it, her friends are influenced by it, her community is transformed by it. Because here's what Brittnee Wilder wants us to understand: when you invest in your own healing, you're not just changing your story, you're rewriting the legacy for those who come after you. One woman's transformation can literally liberate generations. This isn't theoretical. We see it happening. Dr. Joy Harden Bradford created therapy for Black girls because she recognized the unique challenges Black women face in traditional mental health spaces. What began as a directory connecting Black women to culturally competent therapists has blossomed into a movement with a podcast downloaded millions of times. The impact? Thousands of Black women are now seeking therapy who might never have considered it before. They are normalizing mental health care in communities where stigma has often prevented people from getting help. They're saying our minds deserve peace, our hearts deserve healing, our souls deserve restoration. And they're passing that message to their daughters, their nieces, their students, their mentees. This is how cycles break. This is how healing becomes inheritance instead of trauma. But I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds beautiful, but is it realistic in a world where Black women face disproportionate barriers to healthcare, economic security, and basic safety? Is healing truly accessible? Is abundance really possible? These aren't abstract questions. They're questions that demand honest answers. And the answer is healing is not a luxury. It's not something reserved for those with perfect circumstances or abundant resources. Healing is a choice that's available in moments large and small. Healing happens when you set a boundary with family members who drain your energy. Healing happens when you give yourself permission to rest instead of pushing through exhaustion. Healing happens when you connect with others who affirm your worth instead of those who diminish it. Brittnee Wilder emphasizes this point repeatedly. Every step you take toward healing is an act of courage and power. Don't let anyone, including yourself, convince you otherwise. Your power is real and it's waiting for you to claim it. This message resonates deeply because too many of us have been conditioned to doubt our power, to question our worth, to accept limitations as fixed realities rather than challenges to overcome. But what if we rejected that conditioning? What if we embraced Brittnee's vision of Black women as inherently powerful, inherently worthy, inherently deserving of wholeness? I believe we would see transformation on a scale we can barely imagine. Because here's the truth that these movements are revealing. When Black women heal, communities transform. When Black women reclaim their power, systems change. When Black women embrace abundance, new possibilities emerge for everyone. This isn't just about individual wellness, it's about collective liberation. And it starts with a choice, a decision, a commitment to yourself. As Brittnee would say, healing is not a future event, it's a daily choice. Your abundance is on the other side of that first step. That first step looks different for everyone. For some, it might mean finally making that therapy appointment you've been putting off. For others, it might mean joining a walking group in your neighborhood. It might mean having a difficult conversation with someone who's hurt you. It might mean forgiving yourself for not being perfect. Whatever that step is for you, I want you to know something. You don't have to take it alone. That's the beauty of what these women have created. Rachel Cargill, T. Morgan Dixon, Vanessa Garrison, Dr. Joy Harden Bradford. They've built communities where healing happens collectively, where women support each other's journeys, where no one has to figure it all out by themselves because healing isn't just personal, it's communal. It happens in relationship, in connection, in the spaces between us where we recognize ourselves in each other's stories. There's a powerful African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Healing is a journey we're meant to take together, supporting each other, witnessing each other's growth, celebrating each other's breakthroughs. This is what Brittnee Wilder's work ultimately points toward, a vision of Black women moving together toward wholeness, not competing, not comparing, not judging, but genuinely supporting each other's journey toward healing and abundance. So I challenge you today. What is one step you can take towards your own healing? Not tomorrow, not when circumstances are perfect, not when you have more time, more money, more support today, because your healing isn't just about you, it's about everyone connected to you, past, present, and future. Your ancestors dreamed of the healing you have access to now. Your descendants will benefit from the cycles you break today. Your community will be transformed by the power you reclaim in this moment. When you choose healing, you declare that you are worthy of wholeness. When you embrace abundance, you reject the lie of scarcity that has kept too many of us small. When you reclaim your power, you become unstoppable, not just in your own life, but in your capacity to create change in the world. This is the revolution Brittnee Wilder is calling us to join, not with placards and protests, though those have their place, but with the quiet, persistent choice to heal, to thrive, to become exactly who we were born to be. The world is waiting for you to claim your birthright, not because it will be easy, but because it will be worth it. Not because you won't face resistance, but because you are stronger than any force that tries to keep you small. Your healing matters. Your journey toward wholeness is sacred. Your power is real and it's waiting for you to claim it. The time is now. The person is you. And the revolution begins with a single step toward healing. What will yours be?